We spend so much of our lives holding on to people, to plans, to outcomes we desperately want to shape. We grip tight because we think if we try hard enough, care deep enough, hold firm enough, maybe nothing will fall apart. But life doesn't work that way. The harder you fight to control what's uncontrollable, the more exhausted you become. And in that exhaustion, something breaks, not the world, but you. The Stoic sees this and chooses differently. He doesn't waste energy chasing certainty. He doesn't fear the unknown. He practices the art of letting go. But not because he's passive, not because he's weak, because he's wise. To let go is not to lose, it's to see clearly. To finally admit, this is within my hands, this is not. And in that moment, a quiet strength rises. Not the strength of the clenched fist, but the open palm. Not the strength that controls, but the one that trusts. Not force, but flow. Letting go is not surrendering your values, it's surrendering your illusions. It's saying, I'll show up fully, I'll do what's right, I'll live with integrity, but I will not carry what was never mine to hold. And in that decision, peace begins. Not from having more control, but from finally needing less. There's a subtle line between caring deeply and clinging tightly, and most of us cross it without even noticing. To care means to show up with your heart open. To attach means to wrap your identity around something or someone and beg it not to leave. The first brings connection, the second brings suffering. We fall into the trap of believing, if I just hold on tight enough, maybe it'll last forever. But nothing in life was built to stay still. People change, circumstances shift, and permanence? That's a story we tell ourselves to feel safe. These Stoics never warned against love. They warned against the illusion that you can own what was only ever meant to be experienced. When you say, I need this to go my way or I can't be okay, you hand over your peace like a hostage. That's not strength. That's dependency in disguise. Real strength is loving without chaining, giving without demanding, and staying rooted even as things come and go. Because when your identity is built on things that can vanish, your sense of self vanishes with them. So ask yourself honestly, what am I holding on to out of fear, not out of love? What am I afraid will happen if I let it go? Anything you must have to feel okay already owns you, and anything that owns you can destroy you. The Stoic doesn't stop feeling. He feels deeply, but he loves freely. He gives fully, and he never mistakes holding on for strength. Let go, not because it's easy, but because it's the only way to stay free. Here's a truth many resist, but few can ignore once it sinks in. You don't control how things turn out. You only control how you show up. We're raised to believe results are everything, that success is proof of worth, that failure is a personal flaw. But life laughs at formulas. You can do everything right and still lose. You can give your best and still not be chosen. You can care deeply and still watch it fall apart. The Stoics knew this. They didn't put their peace in outcomes. They placed it in effort. Not effort fueled by desperation, but by discipline. Not driven by reward, but rooted in character. Because real strength isn't proven when things go your way. It's revealed when they don't. And you keep showing up anyway. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, give it sun, care for it, but you can't force it to bloom on your timeline. And if it doesn't grow, your care wasn't wasted, it shaped you. That's the shift. When your focus moves from winning to integrity, from approval to action, from control to consistency, you stop chasing what's never been yours. You stop needing results to feel at peace. Because your peace now comes from this. I did my part. I stayed true. The rest is not mine to carry. Ask yourself today, am I showing up with honesty, effort, and presence? If yes, then you've already succeeded, because no result can take that away from you. When life doesn't go our way, our first instinct is to tense up, to push back, to protest, to hold the line. But here's the paradox. The tighter you grip, the more you bleed. Think of it like this. You're holding a rope that's pulling away from you. The harder you cling, the deeper it cuts. And the pain, it's not coming from what's happening. It's coming from your refusal to let go. We think resistance protects us, but most of the time, it only prolongs our pain. The Stoics knew this. They didn't deny discomfort. They didn't pretend life was fair, but they chose a different strength, acceptance. release, presence. Not because they liked what happened, but because they knew that healing can't begin until you stop arguing with what already is. You don't have to approve of the situation. You don't even have to understand it. But if you want to move forward, you have to stop resisting the fact that it's here. Emotions are like storms. You can't outrun them. You can't shove them down forever. But you can stand still, name them, feel them. Let them pass through you, not around you. That's release. That's strength. Not the absence of emotion, but the refusal to be ruled by it. Forgiveness. That's another kind of release. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve peace more than you deserve revenge. Ask yourself, what pain am I still gripping like a lifeline? What could begin to heal if I just stop pulling? Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's how you make space for new life, new love, new peace. And sometimes the only thing keeping you in pain is the story you keep trying to rewrite. Most people go through life like this, trying to mold reality, twist it, bend it, force it into the shape they hope for, as if expectations were armor that could protect them from disappointment. But expectations don't protect you. They shatter the moment life doesn't play along. The Stoic doesn't resist reality, he moves with it. He doesn't try to hold the river, he becomes the bank. Steady, grounded, letting the current pass through. Because when you stop pushing back, when you stop demanding the moment be different than it is, you gain something far more powerful than control: clarity. Think of your emotions, your thoughts, your circumstances, like water. You can't dam the river forever. You can't escape its movement, but you can choose how you meet it. With tension, you drown. With openness, you stay afloat. Letting reality flow through you means saying, here's what I wanted, but here's what is. So how do I respond, not react, from a place of truth? That shift changes everything, because most suffering doesn't come from the event itself. It comes from our resistance to it, from the mental storm we create when life doesn't match the script we were holding on to too tightly. You can argue with the wind all you want, it won't stop the storm, but you can close the window. The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of fate, not because everything is good, but because you're strong enough to face it as it is. Ask yourself, am I moving with life or bracing against it? Am I grounded or clenched? Am I present or stuck in resistance? Let the moment come, let it pass, let it teach you, and in that stillness, you'll find power far greater than control. There's a war most people never speak of. It doesn't happen outside, it happens in the quiet corners of your mind. It's the battle between how things are and how you believe they should be. And the more you fight that gap, the more peace you drain from your life. You can resist the present all you want, but here's the brutal truth. It's still the present. No amount of denial will make it disappear. No amount of this isn't fair will undo what already is. The Stoics warned us resistance comes at a cost, and that cost is your clarity, your calm, your energy. Every time you replay what you wish hadn't happened, every time you cling to why me, every time you try to bend reality to match your plan, you're bleeding power you could have used to move forward. Peace isn't found in perfect circumstances. It's found in how you respond when things are far from perfect. That's where character is forged, not in ease, but in presence. The Stoic doesn't wait for the world to cooperate. He adjusts himself to the world as it is, not because he likes everything, but because he knows this. You don't change the storm by yelling at the clouds. You protect your peace by closing the window. Fighting what is leads to frustration, bitterness, burnout. It keeps you stuck asking unanswerable questions. It traps you in loops of blame and regret. And worst of all, it steals the one thing that's always been yours, the moment you're in right now. So what's the alternative? Not surrender, not apathy, but alignment. It's saying, I don't love this, but it's real. So now what? That's not weakness. That's power with direction. Ask yourself today, what truth am I resisting because it hurts my pride? What battle am I fighting that's costing me my peace? Because the longer you argue with reality, the longer you argue with yourself. And the day you stop fighting what is the day you start becoming whole again. We spend so much of life scanning for validation, looking sideways, measuring our worth by applause, approval, or recognition. But Stoicism flips the script. Your job is not to win the game. Your job is to play your part with integrity. When you fixate on results, you scatter your focus. You begin to ask, am I getting anywhere? Do they see me? Is this working? But the only question that really matters is this: am I doing what's right? Because results are never fully in your control, but your character, your actions, your attitude, those are yours every single time. Let's be honest, it's easy to give your best when things are going well. But what about when progress is invisible? When no one's watching? When your efforts feel like they're falling flat? That's when you meet your true self. That's when discipline speaks louder than motivation. That's when purpose begins. The Stoics believed that greatness wasn't in the size of the role, but in how well you played it. Epictetus said, "You are an actor in a play. The playwright assigns your role. Yours is to perform it well, whatever it may be." This isn't resignation, it's radical ownership. It's the kind of strength that stops chasing applause and starts choosing alignment. When you care more about how you live than how it looks, you stop comparing. You stop compromising. You stop tying your peace to external outcomes. Because when things fall apart, and sometimes they will, you won't carry shame. You'll carry clarity. I did my part with honesty, with effort, with heart. That's success the world can't take from you. So ask yourself, what does my role require of me today, regardless of results? Then do that. Because real peace isn't found in the outcome. It's found in how you show up, again and again, when no one claps and you keep going anyway. Anyone can walk away. Anyone can say, I'm done. But not everyone can do it with grace. Because letting go with grace, that's not weakness, that's wisdom in motion. Graceful release means you don't leave bitter. You don't slam the door. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You simply know, this chapter has ended, and I have the courage to turn the page. The Stoics understood that everything in life is borrowed: people, plans, possessions, even time. And because nothing truly belongs to us, we must learn to release without collapsing. You can let go of a person and still honor what they meant. You can walk away from a dream and still respect the version of you that chased it. You can say goodbye, not because it no longer mattered, but because you finally learned to stop holding what was already gone. Epictetus said, never say I have lost it. Say instead, I have returned it. That's grace. Not just in words, but in posture. It's how you carry yourself through change. Not clinging, not closing, but breathing through it all. Letting go with grace also means releasing the need to be understood, to be right, to be validated. It's saying, I don't need closure from the outside. I create it within myself. So ask yourself honestly, what am I holding on to out of habit, not harmony? What am I gripping because I'm afraid of the silence that might follow? Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is not to explain one more time, not to fight to be heard, but simply to exhale and move on. And when you do that, when you let go without resentment, without chaos, you return to yourself. You make space for something more aligned, more honest, more true. Because grace isn't how you hold on, it's how you release without losing your peace. There's a kind of strength that doesn't shout, it doesn't strain, it doesn't demand. It moves quietly, steadily, aligned. This is the strength of flow, not force. Most people are stuck in constant pressure, forcing answers, forcing timing, forcing life to move faster than it's meant to. They call it ambition, but often it's just fear. Fear of stillness, fear of the unknown, fear that if they stop pushing, they'll fall behind. But the Stoics saw things differently. They didn't race the river, they learned to move with it, to act with intention, not anxiety, to trust the rhythm of life even when it's unclear. Think of water. It doesn't break through rock with force. It shapes it slowly, with presence, with patience, with persistence. That's flow, not passive, not weak, but wise. Flow says, I will act when it's time. I will move with clarity. And I will trust that what's meant for me won't require me to fracture myself to reach it. Force says, this must happen now. Flow says, I will take the next right step and let life unfold. And this doesn't mean you stop working hard. It means you stop fighting what's not yours to control. You still show up, still give your best. But your peace isn't tied to how fast things bloom. You've learned to trust the process more than the prize. So ask yourself, where in my life am I pushing too hard? What might change if I chose to move with life instead of against it. Because true strength isn't loud, it's not frantic, it's not clenched, it's quiet. It listens, it flows. We often mistake acceptance for giving up. We think if we accept the pain, we're weak. If we accept the past, we're stuck. If we accept reality, we've lost. But the truth is, acceptance is not the end of the fight. It's the beginning of clarity. To accept something doesn't mean you approve of it. It means you're done denying it. It means you're strong enough to face it without flinching. The Stoics knew you can't change what you refuse to see. You can't grow beyond what you won't admit exists. And you can't heal if you're still busy pretending you're not hurt. Acceptance is a kind of armor, not to block out life's pain, but to protect you from being destroyed by your resistance to it. It's the pause between reaction and response, the space where emotion settles and wisdom speaks. It says, yes, this happened, yes, it hurts, and yes, I am still here. That's where power returns. That's when you stop spinning in what if and start asking, what now? Acceptance doesn't make you passive. It makes you precise. You stop wasting energy fighting the storm and start using that energy to navigate through it. You stop demanding that life be different and start shaping your life from where you actually are. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's not detachment, that's survival with grace. So ask yourself, what truth have I been refusing to accept because my ego didn't want to hear it? What part of life am I still trying to rewrite when I should be meeting it head on? Because acceptance doesn't mean you're done. It means you're finally ready to begin, with eyes wide open, feet planted, and your peace intact.